Put on something so it's not so quiet. Um, oh shoot, I need the. I need the. Gillette. Got it.
Let's throw a penalty flag on the hospital monopolies and their abusive price increases. 4 times the rate of inflation. That's 15 yards for price gouging. 500% markups on cancer drugs. That's 15 yards for predatory pricing. Hiding their price hikes from patients and ignoring federal transparency laws. That's another 15
I have to
yards
find my
for
remote
deception.
control.
Tell Congress, stop the big
I don't know where
hospitals
I've
and their
lost it.
pricing abuses.
The other day, I happened to be on TikTok and I came across this particular creator by the name of Bakari. He's a brother that wants to see all black people win, and he would love for us to stop the infighting in the black diaspora. But what he said next was very, very important. I love all my people, and that is black Americans, that is continental Africans, and that is the African diaspora. All my people. I advocate for the unification of all my people. I need more black Americans to start taking trips to Africa. You will see in person that they do not have a problem with black Americans. They love
Why
black
the fuck
Americans.
do
They
I gotta
want
go
us
to
to
Africa?
come back all while I was out there. There are two things that I noticed here. Number one, he acknowledges that a subset of black Americans have problems with certain people from Africa that live in the United States. And that those black Americans, after interacting with those Africans, could believe that those particular Africans hate them. But he said, you should go to Africa yourself, and then you will find out that those Africans do not hate you. And even though he's not saying it directly, he's putting a higher responsibility on black Americans to spend their money to go fly and meet these Africans to find out for
Man,
themselves. It's very difficult to say, go spend your money and fly someplace else when you believe a person from that same group hates you right there in America. And guess what? What you'll find out is if you fly to Africa, that the Africans that live on the continent have a different perspective about black Americans, usually than those that live in the United States. And I was like, that makes sense until I had a good conversation with Brother George Making over at Street Media TV. And he lives in Philadelphia where there is a huge African population there. And he said, listen, man, you can't really compare you going to Africa and meeting Africans on their home soil. At that particular time, they're in their own ecosystem. Yeah, they're going to show love to America. But what Brother Bakari doesn't address, when those Africans come to America, that those Africans typically change their perspective, at least some of them, towards black Americans. And it goes from meeting them in their own habitat where they're humble to now those particular Africans becoming a little bit more angrier or disgusted with African Americans or black Americans. And then a light bulb came up into my mind. I took a moment and I thought about a video that I reviewed here on the channel with a man from Zimbabwe. And he was talking about the early relationship that South Africans had with Zimbabweans, when his Zimbabwean mother would come to the border of South Africa and she would meet with South Africans. And what he said was touching.
Many of our mothers were cross-border traders. They traveled here in South Africa to buy and sell goods, right? Before many of us ever set our foot here, right? If you are Zimbabwean, you know exactly what I'm talking about here, right? Our mothers came back home with stories of kindness here. They came back with clothes, man, sometimes with food. Some South Africans even offered money, simply wanting to help, right? That is why when the Zimbabwe's economy collapsed in 2008, many people chose South Africa, right? We had grown up hearing about the hospitality of its people, right?
Now, after Zimbabwe's economy started to collapse, many Zimbabweans went into South Africa to live and to work. Now, everything was all good at first, until it wasn't. Then when South Africa started to complain about certain things like Zimbabweans using the healthcare system that they paid for, certain Zimbabweans came online and said this.
Free pills that you don't even cook in your own house. Free pills that you don't even make yourself. Pills that are donated from the outside. Pills that are coming from NGOs. Pills that can literally help someone live and protect them and their unborn child. You make noise about pills. You get angry over pills.
What we have is a person who was most likely humble in Zimbabwe, now becoming entitled in South Africa. And we must understand that people do this all over the world. It's not unique to Black Americans if they say that Caribbeans come in and Africans come in, and then after living there, they feel entitled, or they feel that they have the unmitigated gall to talk to you crazy, or to basically tell you that you're lazy. I mean, these conversations happen everywhere. I lived in Poland. The Ukrainians, after they've been there for a while, will do the same thing. I'm pretty sure Jamaicans say the same thing about Haitians and all of that. Now, the reality is a lot of people in the home country become extremely frustrated when you get entitled foreigners, people who have not, let's say, built the country or fought for the country, talking to you in a way that uses your resources in which they have not contributed, which becomes a point of contention right now in Black America as well as South Africa. And I wanted to do this video today, not just to talk about the issue, but to have a resolution. And here's what I think that you should do if you encounter such Africans in the United States. If they tend to have this particular attitude, what you should do is ignore them. The reason why you should ignore that person is very simple. Number one, that person is not worth your time. And I've seen plenty of people do this, online or be rude in person from certain immigrant communities, and that's the truth, right? But I would be lying to say that all people from these immigrant communities, or the Africa or the Caribbean communities, would be like that. And it's easy to put everybody under a broad brush after you have certain experiences. What I would do clearly is ignore that person, because I'm going to tell you why. Because the individual that you're talking about in person is not valuable to anybody. If a person would be entitled with you in America when they came from a poor country, and then all of a sudden they're entitled in America, that person is no good to anyone. That person that talks like that doesn't do anything for their own community, and they don't do anything for white people. So largely that person that behaves like that is unsuccessful. And I knew a person like that in Uganda, and they were just like that, super entitled. They had a lot to say, and that person right now is dead broke. And that's typically what happens. Entitled people typically never care about what somebody else wants, right? And if you're a Black American, you simply just don't have the time to be engaged with somebody who is not even worth it. You can only engage somebody who wants to bring you value. And I think that I want to calibrate some of the stuff that I'm saying so that we can focus on who wants to bring you value and who doesn't. The people who don't want to bring you value are usually the same people that don't bring their own community value. So as much as we want to take it personal, trust me, they do this everywhere they go. I've seen this 1,000 times. People who are problematic with the Black Americans, or people who are problematic with Nigerians, or with Caribbeans, are problematic with the whites. It happens like that. So those people
Electrolytes.
regardless. Who should
From
we focus
Brondo
on?
is what
We should
plants
focus
crave.
on the people who do want to work with us. And that's the important
Joking.
part of the Black unity stuff that we should be talking about. And I think that we got to understand that everybody, or most people, cannot be included in the work that people may want to do in the FBA community only, or if you're from the Black American Foundation of Black American community and you want to work with the larger Black world. A lot of people say that they do want to do this work, but in order to do this work, it is a sacrifice, right? And for you to put in a sacrifice, there must be some level of a payoff in the end. It's the only way that we can make things work. And the only way we can get a payoff is to work with people who appreciate your efforts, your time, and your talents. And a lot of black people do not appreciate your effort, your time, and your talents. But there are a lot of people who do. And those people that want to give you value, that's who we should have time for, guys. You know, when you see people that are just being rude for no reason, or they have excuses, or they don't want to listen, or they don't really want to address the claims being met that you have, they don't want to respect you. That's all it is. But anybody who wants to engage with you, they will respect you. They'll respect your culture. They'll respect your way of doing things. They'll try to adopt. They'll do anything that they can to show you that they want to be in your life because you have something to offer. And guess what? When they do that to you, you will then adopt what they have to offer, right? And you'll learn more about them. It's called a fair exchange. Entitled people, nobody likes them anywhere. I think we see that in South Africa. We see that in North America. We see it all around the world. People who want to freeload off the system, not put in any work, sit there and talk crap, are going to have a tough time everywhere in life. And all they are really doing is giving you more opportunity to go ahead and be successful. And that's something that I thought about since I had my debate with Afro Think Tank. I've thought about it since I've been talking to George Macon. And not just to always complain about the obvious, right? Because the obvious is always going to be there. But to also use the platform to educate, to understand that time is limited. We will not always be here. And we always don't have time to sit back and think about what somebody's doing, why are they doing it. I mean, who gives a damn, right? Whenever I come to Nairobi or Dubai, like my time is already gone because, you know, so many people in the country wanna see me, wanna talk to me about something serious. I largely don't even have time to really, you know, enter into something in real life that doesn't make sense. I still think that you should leave all your opportunities open for people who are respectful, people who are mindful, people who are appreciative of your time, regardless of where they're coming from the diaspora. And I largely think if we look at it in these terms, some of the problems that we have in the diaspora might be mitigated really quick. And it will weed a lot of people out who don't want to be there. You have a lot of people that claim Pan-Africanism. You have a lot of people that claim a whole bunch of stuff, and they're just talking, not doing anything, calling names, sticking up for bad arguments, and they really don't want to show anybody any real value. And then that's okay. Those are the people that should be largely removed from the movement. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Usher Jackson back at it again here on Kinganda. I'm out.
What would I tell my younger self? Oh my gosh, so many things. We were so happy. But when it came to money, we were just winging it. If I had fasted when my kids were born, I would have
All right,
started.
I need to find a new video.
But I got it time.
Sorry, I gotta
Planning a dream trip that's already
twist
paid for.
the screen. Sorry about that.
With everything in place.
Meet Nikki Seven. She's the owner and operator of the Instagram page called I Am Nikki Divine 9. And she owns an agency that builds and launches done businesses for you. In other words,
Divine 9.
she's a digital nomad. And with that income, she's able to travel all around the world. If you look at her Instagram, she's been to the Bahamas, Cabo San Lucas, Jamaica. I mean, she's doing her thing. And that brought her to her beautiful trip to Thailand. And at first, everything was working well until
Was held hostage in a home in Thailand.
This man is harassing me. He won't let me out the house and put his hands on me.
We're not gonna have like,
Look, they just attacked me.
me,
Look, they just attacked me. Look, my phone over here.
now here she's saying she's been held hostage in an Airbnb by this gentleman who's holding something in his hand.
I don't
And at
believe her.
first, it does look like she is truly being harassed. And then
I am very traumatized. I fought off my attackers, and the reason why they attacked me is because they had a lot of complaints, and Airbnb was shutting down their listing after I left.
So this is where the story starts getting a little interesting. She's saying that the reason why they are fighting with her and kicking her out is because the Airbnb owner is about to get kicked off the platform. Huh?
What?
So why would anybody come and remove you from an Airbnb simply because they're about to be getting removed from the platform? Even if that was the case and you contacted Airbnb, and let's say, for example, this particular host had a lot of problems, they would never tell a person bringing the allegation that, oh, by the way, this particular Airbnb host has been a complete issue, and we're removing him anyway. That would never happen. If Airbnb is going to remove a person from the site, they're going to remove the person from the site. They're never going to tell the person who is bringing the allegation. They're going to refund you the money, and that's if they take your side of the story. Airbnb will typically look at both sides of the story, and then they'll make a decision on usually who is right. And typically, the person that is the customer typically wins these cases. They typically get the money back. Now, we can't really understand what the guy is saying here. Now, also, it's important to understand that there was a person that could understand Thai, a person by the name of Jimmy Jordan in the comment section. And he said, you also forgot to highlight that he's asking you if the thing in his hand is yours and why do you have it? He sounds like he thinks you have something illegal and he is upset that you had it in his home. He asked you several times, is this yours? Why?
Uh-oh.
It's important to know that she did not mention this in the video
Uh-oh.
because she's painting her side of the story. And maybe she just completely
A lie.
forgot it. And then
My attackers paid off the police right in front of me. His eye looked like that because he hit me.
So basically, you just let him off free because he just bribed the police. Tell him in English, in Thai,
Okay.
I want to speak to him because he just took a bribe instead of protecting me, and these people just assaulted me
Okay.
and stole my money. I want my 10,000 baht back.
Okay. You want your money
I
back?
want my money back right now.
10,000 baht. You're complaining about what, $200? Not even 200.
But I haven't been helped here. You just let somebody that assaulted me. You know that he stole my phone. You see my phone is damaged. He brought the phone back, and you just let him walk out.
so she's talking to somebody. I don't know if this person is in deportations, the law, police officer. She's saying that she wants to talk to this man, the Airbnb owner, and he has 10,000 baht of her money that she wants to have back. Now, if
Oh, that's
you do
$296.
business on
Never mind.
Airbnb,
My
one
bad.
thing you're
I'm thinking
never
in Filipino
dealing with
currency.
is cash. And so if you wanted the money back from Airbnb, which is 10,000 Thai baht, that's about $300. Then again, you would just go back to Airbnb and receive that money. But it looks like she's already been told no from Airbnb, that she can't have the money back, and she's asking the owner to give her the money back. She's also accusing the police of being corrupt and this man handing the officer some money. And that largely could be true. I mean, this is what happens in many developing
That's why I
nations of
don't
third world
stay in
nations.
Airbnbs.
But again, I'm not sure if this is true.
A hotel is perfectly fine.
Could be true because this can
Or
happen.
even a
But
hostel.
They told me initially
Or
that they
homestay.
believed me. My phones were broken. I had video proof.
I don't do
My
Airbnb.
attacker even had to bring my second cell phone to the police
I
station.
don't want to live in someone else's house.
And I watched my attacker
Although the
give
homestay
the
I
police
did was
money in
very
an
close to
envelope,
an
and they came back and told
Airbnb.
me that they didn't believe me because I was black and because my attacker owned a home. I was then imprisoned, not because of that situation, but because all of my debit and my credit cards were stolen and I did not pay for my visa. There was no way. I tried my best.
Now we have
Wait, what?
more stuff to cover here. He says that she was not arrested because of the apartment room incident, but she was arrested because she overstayed a visa and she would have paid for the visa, but her cards were stolen. So for U.S. citizens going to Thailand, it's completely free. If you need to stay a little bit over, it's like $54. But she also says her cards were stolen. They also made an allegation that they didn't believe her because she was black.
A beer tap can be
No,
faster.
she's just playing a race card.
Now that's a catch.
Oof. Your big piggy needs professional help. Good thing you have Amazon Health AI. It took one look and got you an appointment. Fast. And they call him man's best friend.
Perfect timing. Party's on.
Which shape?
Why not both? They're on sale.
Now you're hurting me fast. These won't last long.
Anniversary sale is on now. Let's party.
I don't know how true that is. It sounded very random, but check this out.
I tried to send money to myself, but because at that point I was overstaying, I could not. There was no way for me to access money to pay for this visa. It just was an impossible thing. This is the short version, and I can't even speak on everything that happened because I currently have an active lawsuit, and my dog is in Thailand still, and I'm very concerned about her safety. She's in a safe place, but I don't trust Thailand in general.
If you don't trust Thailand in general, why
I
did you
was
go
taken
there?
to jail,
Why did you travel
and
there?
then I was deported. But here's
I
the
wouldn't
thing,
go.
the whole
I wouldn't travel to a
deportation
country that I
situation in Thailand
distrust
is a
generally.
scam. They want you to stay
You
there
are full of
in
shit.
the deportation center. If you are in Dubai or any other place and a place wants you out of their country, they will deport you. I have my own funds, but still they would not let me leave. They would not allow me to pay for my ticket. So I ended up staying there for a month, and it was pure hell. The jail, they say it's not jail.
So all of a sudden, she's staying in an Airbnb style jail. She's about to be deported. She
An
said she lost her
Airbnb
card,
style jail.
then tried
What?
to send money to
What the
herself.
fuck?
She
This
had
doesn't
the
make
money
sense.
to pay for her
This doesn't
flight,
make
and then
sense.
they wouldn't let her pay for her own
This
flight
doesn't make
because
sense.
she used her own money, but her cards were stolen.
This doesn't make
It's
sense.
almost impossible to use your funds when your cards are stolen overseas. The first thing you do is you typically cancel all of your cards if your cards are stolen. So if you send money to yourself, now you're talking about sending money to yourself through like Sendwave or maybe some of these other apps. Typically those use debit or credit card. Usually it's debit card. You can use your bank account to do so. And typically, if you do that the first time and it's a lot of money, they'll kind of hold it and you'll go to like a pickup place. And, like World Remit is very popular for doing that. And then you will go use your passport. But if you're in this deportation jail or being arrested, then you can't leave. So then there's no way you can really send the money to yourself because you're in trouble and they don't want to let you outside into the country, which means that whatever you are accused of doing is so bad that you must be deported and you can't go and spend money to get yourself out of the situation.
Yeah, you're not
because they
even
want you
deported
out of the
just
country
for a simple
something that they
overs.
feel
Well,
that they can prove about you.
I don't know how
And
long
so
you
she's saying that
overstayed.
she can't tell more of the story because she has a lawsuit. But in my honest opinion, this lady has a story
Sketchy.
that's all over the place, and you really can't believe it. Now, it's not that I don't believe that racist things can happen to you overseas. I've lived overseas for 11 years. I've lived in Poland. I'm living in East Africa right now. I've had some pretty unfair circumstances happen to me, but nothing to the level of this. I've been an Airbnb customer all across the world. I've been to Brazil. I've been to Luxembourg. I've been to Hungary. I've been to the UK. I've been to Johannesburg. I've been to Nairobi. I've been to Lagos. I've been to countless thousands of places on Airbnb. Kigali. I have never even, for the most part, met an Airbnb owner, even in Dubai. Never had any problem. And the only time you would get a problem from an Airbnb host to where they ask you to leave is if the tenant is just completely unruly. Then once you get kicked out, then if you deport it, something is wrong. So here's what happened with her most likely. She got deported for something else that she was doing in the Airbnb. Okay? So it was bigger than that. So she got arrested. She had something in the house that she should not have had.
Yep.
They found it. And she's saying that the reason that she was in jail was for a $55 visa. Couldn't really be the case. Because even if she didn't have any money, I'm pretty sure that she had her cell phone, because she said she had more than one cell phone. She could call somebody in America if it was a financial thing. I'm pretty sure that somebody would have helped her out or loaned her the money, or she could have sent the money to them in the States and then cashed at them, and then it was the money to her. That possibility is also not there, which leads me to the idea that we have a lady who is in another country and misappropriated her leverage with somebody in Thailand, and you just can't do that. A lot of things that brothers and sisters can get away with in America, maybe even in the Dominican Republic, it just doesn't work overseas. It's not going to work in Asia. It typically doesn't work in Africa. And if you kind of have any kind of level of a sister girl energy, not being calm, not being humble, especially when you're dealing with the police or dealing with other folks, they're going to make an example out of you. And unfortunately for her, she got made an example out of. She just didn't know when to turn it down. Obviously, whatever she did, it was bad enough that not only did she get kicked off the Airbnb, but she got deported. The thing that we can learn from here is, ladies and gentlemen, keep your stuff in order when you're going to somebody else's country, because nobody has time for you or your problems. So I hope that everything works out with the young lady. But yes, this story is not making sense. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy J.A.C Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.
You could work with your parents' financial planner and pay a percentage of your hard-earned money for a retirement that's years away. Or you could work with Fast.
Sorry, I'm at the.
That's because
This is real honest.
Alright.
They upgraded
Oh,
us.
damn. Gotta do it again. Sorry.
Upgrade that actually feels like an upgrade. It matters where you stay.
Spot right now. Between the pandemic and the ever-present battle between streaming and theatrical cinema, the industry is going through some serious growing pains. And so, studios are largely doubling down on their least risky of bets, investing in the surest things imaginable, while mostly refusing to roll the dice on the more daring or artistically adventurous fare so many of us actually want to see. But it would be a huge mistake to say that Hollywood has entirely lost its nerve, because if this list is any indication, there are still some incredibly odd, ballsy, and downright WTF-inducing movies being made. I'm Ewan, this is What Culture, and here are a whole bunch of upcoming movies you won't believe are real. First up, Jason Statham Stole My Bike. Now, it might sound like a fake movie you'd expect to see inside another movie, but Jason Statham Stole My Bike is indeed a real motion picture that recently wrapped shooting in the UK and Malta. Wider plot details are thin on the ground, but the film is said to be a meta action comedy in which the Stath plays a fictional version of himself and presumably half-inches somebody's bike. We know that the movie is being directed by Deadpool 2 and the Fall Guy filmmaker David Leitch, while the script has been penned by BoJack Horseman and School of Rock TV alum Alison Fliero. But not a single other cast member has yet been announced, so yeah, this is what we have. Considering that Statham is one of the most consistently bankable action stars working today, and he's proven himself such a dab hand at comedy in the past, this could very well end up being one of next summer's big surprise hits along the lines of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which of course had Nicolas Cage playing himself opposite Pedro Pascal and gifted us with a whole ton of memes. That's movie's legacy. It's a great time. Jason Statham Stole My Bike releases on August 6th, 2027.
That's gonna be
Next up,
stupid.
24.
Oh, they made another one.
Now, despite the huge critical and commercial success of both Jump
Shouldn't it be
Street
23?
movies, a plan
Does it start off
for the
21,
film
they had
didn't
22.
materialize
Shouldn't this be
in short
23?
order after 2014's 22 Jump Street. And get this, Sony at one point apparently considered doing a crossover comedy between Jump Street and Men in Black.
So that was true.
MIB 23.
I thought that was a
But
rumor.
to the disappointment of many, it also never came to pass. Though star Channing Tatum revealed in 2024 that a script for 23 Jump Street was ready and, quote, the best script I've ever read for a third movie, he also cast doubt on it ever happening due to the costs involved in producing the threequel. But to the surprise of just about everyone, it was recently confirmed that the sequel, now hilariously called 24 Jump Street, is finally happening. Tatum, Hill, and Ice Cube are all in talks to return, with Rodney Rothman, the guy behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, set to direct, while original filmmakers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller will produce. Of all the comedy sequels that might survive a lengthy gestation period and almost certainly make fun of that very fact, a new Jump Street is right at the top of the pile.
Let's call it 23.
The Man with the Bag. Just when you thought there wasn't a snowball's chance in heck of Arnie returning to the Christmas movie, Jingle All the Way being flawless and all, he's back with the utterly deranged-looking The Man with the Bag. The admittedly hilarious concept stars Arnie as Santa Claus. Hell yeah! Who, after his sack of Christmas presents is stolen, turns to his naughty list to find a petty criminal who just might be equipped to track said bag down. They could have also called it Arnie, Go Get That Bag, because he's going to get paid as well for the movie, and he's also getting an actual bag.
Boo.
I'm looking forward to the new Conan. The criminal in question is Vance, not to be confused with JD, played by Alan Richardson, who brings his daughter and a band of misfits along as he prepares to pull off the ultimate holiday heist and save Christmas. The ensemble cast also includes Awkwafina, Kyle Mooney,
Oh, I know
Ken
it's gonna be
Jeong,
bad.
Kowski, and Matty Conroplay, among many.
Ken Jeong and
others.
Aquafina is
The
gonna
concept
suck.
does seem a little bit algorithmic, but you know, it's Arnie goofing around as Santa. That's good enough for me. I've got to be real. By the way, The Man with the Bag releases on Amazon Prime Video on December 2nd.
Oh, it's an Amazon
Next
Prime
up,
Video
the
movie.
Barbarella remake. Various attempts to reboot and remake the classic 1968 sci-fi film Barbarella have been made over the decades, but it's looking like this latest one just might stick. In 2022, Sony Pictures announced that a new Barbarella movie was in the works with Sydney Sweeney set to star as the title character, previously played so iconically by the legendary Jane Fonda.
Sydney Sweeney could do
will
it.
also executive produce the movie, and yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
As one of the surefire Hollywood sex symbols of today, Sweeney certainly seems like a logical casting choice, but things got far more unexpected when, in 2024, Edgar Wright was signed to direct a script co-written by Jane Goldman and her daughter Honey. Jane Goldman also wrote Kingsman, so you're kind of seeing the tonal alignment occurring here, if that's what you want to call it. But we heard little about the film in the past 2 years, and with both Sweeney's increasingly busy schedule and the recent failure of Wright's remake of The Running Man, which, oh my god, was so disappointing, why would you do that to me, Edgar? It would have surprised nobody if the project just quietly went away, like just melted into the bushes, Homer Simpson style. The Barbarella saga took a new twist a few weeks ago, when it was confirmed that the new film was actually still happening, with Sweeney set to produce it under her newly minted production company called Honey Trap. Next up, White Chicks 2.
Oh, shit.
Love it or hate it, the Wayans brothers' race-swapping comedy White Chicks was a mammoth box office hit in 2004, no matter the absolute pasting it took from critics at the time. Sony first announced a sequel in 2009, yet it was ultimately scrapped, only for a second attempt to be announced in 2018, but nothing came out of that one either. The But back in February, Marlon and Sean Wayans told press that if their new
I don't know
scary
why my
movie
wife and all
sequel
her
was
friends
a
love this
box office
movie. It's
success,
ridiculous.
then the long
They
gestated
made
White
me like
Chicks
it
2
because
would
they
get
love
made.
it so much.
And in the unfortunate reality in which we all live, yeah,
So I
that
watched
scary
it
movie reboot
with
just
them.
crossed the $200
They're
million
cracking up,
mark on a budget
and
of
I'm
just
cracking up. And I'm
$30
like,
million.
wait, do
So
they get these
it's safe to
jokes? But
say
yeah, they,
that White Chicks 2
you know,
will
in the
definitely
Philippines,
happen.
they got the
And so
jokes.
what the
It
film
was
might
funny.
say, oh, well,
It's
Marlon
hilarious.
Wayans loves the idea of a very White Chicks Christmas, but nothing is set in stone yet. Next up, Skibidi Toilet.
Oh, God.
Oh. You know, I've been doing this job for like a while now.
Oh,
You
God.
know, I've said some stupid things with my mouth, with my whole mouth, aloud. Skibidi Toilet, that's like, it's gotta be like top 2 worst. So yeah, believe it or not, a feature film adaptation of animated web series Skibidi Toilet is happening because we've all been put on this earth to suffer. I guess that's the reason why. And if
Pretty
you didn't
much.
know what the show was about and like sane until like 5 minutes ago, well, here's a synopsis.
This is for people
It
who are
chronicles the war
functionally
between
retarded.
toilets with human heads that emerge from them.
Someone
Humanoids with
who watches that
devices
is either
for
functionally
heads.
retarded
A Gen Z
or
pop culture
under the
phenomenon?
age of
But
13,
why
which
are
is
we
kind of the
really-
same thing.
Why are we doing this? This feels outdated already, right? Like no one says this. No one says
Like,
skibidi toilet anymore, right?
right, that was from
No
like
one,
3 years
except me.
ago.
In this goddamn video. Oh, and what's that? Look, Michael Bay. He's directing. Okay. Michael Bay. Skibidi toilet. Michael Bay.
You're joking, right?
Yeah, it started production in May 2025, but mercifully, we've not heard much about it at all in the year plus since. But get this, everyone. Apparently, Paramount Pictures president Adam Goodman is apparently enthusiastic about Skibidi Toilet's potential as Hollywood's next big IP. So it's definitely happening.
Why?
Isn't that great for us? Isn't that great?
It was
for
always
everyone?
it was
Skibidi
always a
Toilet, the
joke
movie, the franchise.
amongst Gen Z, and
This
they
is
don't even
fantastic.
use it
On the
anymore.
way, Bitcoin. No.
It was a joke amongst
Is there a difference
Gen
between
Alpha
Skibidi
and
Toilet
the youngest Gen
Bitcoin?
Z, and they don't even use it
I'm
anymore.
asking for me. On a more serious note,
Youth
Hollywood
slang
is
has like the
obviously
lifespan
in
of
its AI obsession right now, and
6
reckoning not
months
only how it will impact
at
post-production, but also the on-set filmmaking process. And one of the most peculiar AI-centric experiments to date is Bitcoin, a new conspiracy thriller from Doug Liman. Now, Liman's film is centered around the secret identity of Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto, with a cast led by Casey Affleck, Pete Davidson, Gal Gadot, and Isla Fisher. AI is being used to generate all of the film sets and reportedly even adjust performances in post-production, such as having actors who are playing the likes of Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and Eric Trump better resemble their real-life selves. And this thing gets worse with every single line.
Why?
This is the same Doug Liman that made The Bourne Identity, which is like one of the best thrillers in the past 25 years. Yeah, whether the film turns out
Yeah,
good
Bourne
or
Identity
not,
was
and
good, but this is gonna be
frankly, it's tough to
trash.
have much faith in it on the basis of everything I've just discovered. On paper, it seems like such a bizarre, soulless, and uninspired way to make a movie. I will not be watching it. To no one's
I won't be
surprise.
watching
On the
anything
way,
on this list.
Animal Friends. Animal Friends definitely feels like the sort of film that Hollywood seemed to leave behind in the 2010s. A kooky, live-action, animated hybrid comedy along the lines of, I don't know, Brendan Fraser's Furry Vengeance. Ryan Reynolds and Jason Momoa will voice two fugitive animals, Pony and Bear, who set off on a journey across the United States to get.
Sorry, I know you
back to
guys are tired of looking at my
left
gut
all at
after I
home.
just
And for reasons
ate.
that clear,
I assure you, I
they're
don't
being
have a gut.
sued by a
That's just me looking
DEA
bloated
agent
because
played by
of the way
Aubrey
my
Plaza
my
and a
back is
fish
stretched
and
out.
wildlife
Pause.
ranger played by
Pause.
Matt Levy. And here comes
Pause.
the big surprise.
But the
Despite
way
Animal Friends sounding like
I'm
a
lying
training broad,
back like
you know,
this,
four-quadrant family
and
comedy,
the
you know,
fact that I just ate,
it's actually
so.
R-rated. The NPA rating description
But
lists,
I
quote,
don't have a gut,
language
rest
throughout,
assured.
sexual/crude material, and some violent content/bloody images. That kind of sounds more
I'm
interesting
just
than what
happen
I
to be
assumed it
resting
was
in
going
a
to be. So, yeah.
unfortunate
Roll
position.
on
Pause.
Ryan Reynolds and Jason Momoa's Furry Vengeance. Brackets, Animal Friends. Which releases on January 22nd.
Also, this rash guard is.
2027.
I'm hot in
Next
this
up,
rash guard,
the entertainment
guys.
system is down.
I don't know how long
Every
I'm gonna
new
do this.
piece of
I need to get out
information
this
we
rash
hear
guard,
from a new
and I'm not
movie
gonna
from
go
trial
topless
established filmmaker
on
Ruben
this
Östlund just makes it
live
sound
stream.
even more bonkers.
Unless someone sent me
The
a super
entertainment
chat
system is down.
for like
Takes place on a transatlantic flight
50
where the
bucks or
onboard
more,
entertainment
then I'll go
system
topless.
fails,
Other than that, no, I'm
causing
not going
chaos to
topless.
break out in the islands. Östlund has assembled one hell of an impressive
pectorals
cast
are
for the
staying
film, including Keanu Reeves,
under
Kirsten
wraps.
Dunst, Daniel Bruhl, Samantha Morton, Nicholas Brown, Julie Delpy, Tobias Menzies.
All these movies
and
sound
Vincent
horrible.
Linden. Östlund
I'm
is
sorry,
currently
all these
deep
movies
into
sound horrible.
post-production for a
I'm not
rumored
going to see
Cannes
one,
2027
any of them,
premiere,
and
in
I'm
a
not even
recent
going to watch
interview,
them
the
for
filmmaker
free
dished some
on my
even more
through my
peculiar
torrent files.
information. After the Flames entertainment system fails, the cabin crew will
Negative
put one
on
remaining
that, good
screen
buddy.
so that passengers can communally watch something together. But they can't seem to agree on whether to watch an Adam Sandler comedy or a brilliant Russian filmmaker Andrei Zvyagintsev art house masterpiece, Leviathan. The ensuing argument causes the cabin crew to open part of the aircraft to try and repair the entertainment system, after which the plane malfunctions and crashes. You know, just God bless Östlund and anyone helping fund something so aggressively strange. Here's hoping it's also good, although given how good Triangle of Sadness was, we don't have much to worry about in this one. I don't think. Next up, Don't Get Up. The new thriller, Don't Get Up, sounds absolutely bonkers, starring Simon Rex as Barry, a regular guy who finds out that the hotel toilet he sat on has been rigged with explosives a la Lethal Weapon 2, with a
That's
mysterious
stupid.
caller
Oh yeah,
notifying him
that
it will
was
blow
Lethal
up
Weapon
if
too.
he doesn't pay $220,000 before the countdown reaches zero. The story is also set during a storm in Oklahoma, the flood leaving Barry cut off from the outside world and therefore unable to summon help altogether. All while he
Didn't I
comes to
take a
realize
nap
this twisted
today?
hostage situation is connected to a devastating secret from his past. I don't know, maybe he didn't watch Lethal Weapon 2.
No,
Maybe that's the
I
secret.
think I
But yeah,
took
serious
a-
note.
No, I
And
didn't.
while this actually isn't the first film set
I
primarily
didn't take a
in
nap.
toilet,
That's why I'm
it
tired.
just might be the most outrageous sounding of them all. Next up, Martin Scorsese's Hawaii Mob movie.
Wait, what?
Martin Scorsese tends to have his name attached to more projects than most people have had hot dinners, and it wasn't easy to fully believe that his announced Hawaii set mob movie would ever actually get made. All the more so considering the film was set to star the ever-in-demand likes of Dwayne Johnson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Emily Blunt, with Johnson starring as a Hawaiian mob boss who operated in the 1960s and 70s. Odd as it is to picture Johnson of all folk starring in a Scorsese movie, recent reports indicate the development is moving along quite nicely, and though the filmmaker is deep into post-production on his new psychological horror film, What Happens at Night, he's set to dive into this crime drama on the next go-around. The script is currently being revised, after which it's expected to be fast-tracked into production, meaning Scorsese could very well begin rolling cameras on it before year's end, if we're lucky. Next up, Scapegoat. Hereditary and Midsummer director Ari Aster's new film Scapegoat was recently confirmed to be starring Scarlett Johansson, and fresh off the deeply unhinged 1-2 punch of Beau is Afraid and Eddington, he looks set to deliver another bold and wildly twisted black comedy. Though we don't have an official synopsis of any kind yet, reports indicate that Scapegoat revolves around Johansson's surgeon protagonist, whose patient, a popular Jake Paul-esque social media guy, dies on the operating table. This causes said surgeon to come under fire from not only the influencer's family, including his wife, who is rumored to be a parody of Erica Kirk, but also their legion of fans. And as with Eddington, Astor's satire sure does not pretend to be subtle, but it's certainly one of the most tantalizingly unique and provocative concepts for any film currently in the works.
On my laptop,
Next
restarted.
up, Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima fans have been waiting years to see his beloved Metal Gear Solid franchise adapted to the big screen, but his more recent franchise, Death Stranding, has firmly beaten it to the punch. post-apocalyptic action series was in the works, with A24 later confirmed to be co-producing the project. And while it's easy to picture this being another video game adaptation that, like the planned Metal Gear Solid movie, never actually gets made, development seems to be chugging along at a shockingly smooth pace. Last year, rising filmmaker Michael Sarnowski, the guy behind Pig and the recent death of Robin Hood, was confirmed to be both writing and directing, which, considering his penchant.
When you don't use valves, dryer heat can be a real monster. I turn clothes into a magnet for lint, dust, and hair. Valves! Oh, it fights dryer heat static and makes your laundry fresh again.
Alright. Damn it.
Sensodyne Clinical White gives 2 shades whiter teeth, 24/7 sensitivity protection. I recommend it.
The Jimenez family are having battery issues, but an AutoZoner helps them find the right Duralast battery.
Celebrate free at AutoZone. Free products with exclusive deals now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Sean for
I need more
injecting
rash
deep
guards.
dish character drama into a more heightened genre film seems like one
But not for
hell
the
of a
summer.
neat fit. And while we don't have any hard and fast updates on when Death Stranding will actually release, Sarnowski did recently confirm that Kojima gave him carte blanche to develop a quote-unquote totally new story within the world of those games, suggesting the possibility that the game's star, Norman Reedus, may not appear in the film much at all. Next up, Alpha Gang. Anyone who saw the Zelda Brothers' previous film, Sasquatch Sunset, or really any of their other films, to be honest, should know to expect the unexpected from them. Even so, their new sci-fi comedy Alpha Gang sounds like a wild left field and star-studded stab at a superficially familiar alien invasion premise. The film follows a group of humanoid aliens who arrive on Earth with the intent to destroy it, only to soon enough find their planets compromised as they're overwhelmed with human emotions. They'll get you. And the Zeldas roped in a stupid good cast for the ride, with the ensemble including Kate Blanchett, Chris Pine, Dave Bautista, Lea Seydoux, Lee Rose Depp, Adria Arjona, and Duna Bay. Curiously, another version of the film almost began shooting a few years earlier with a largely different cast, which would have included Andrea Riseborough, John Hamm, Nicholas Hoult, Charlotte Gainsbourg, Mackenzie Davis, Sophia Boutella, and Stephen Yeun. But it ultimately fell through for reasons unknown. On the way, Remain. M. Night Shyamalan's new film marks a slightly stark departure for the filmmaker, as it'll see him team with author Nicholas Sparks, best known for novels The Notebook, A Walk to Remember, and Message in a Bottle, for a supernatural romantic thriller. JDG himself, Jake Gyllenhaal, stars as a New York architect called Tate Donovan, who heads to Cape Cod to design a summer house, all while mourning his sister's death. There he meets a person called Red, played by Phoebe Dynevor, a young woman who throws his life into disarray. And that's all we really know about the film so far, but it certainly sounds like a far cry from Shyamalan's usual twisty, turny offerings. Above all else, Sparks, whose works tend towards sentimental schmaltz, feels like a strange writing partner for Shyamalan. And to make the enterprise even odder, he'll be writing a companion novel to release alongside the movie. Next up, Austin Powers 4. Considering that the iconic Austin Powers trilogy collectively grossed almost $700 million globally on a budget of barely $100
Austin
million,
Powers.
of course,
It's been too long since they
but with star Mike Myers'
made a
career in
sequel.
decline throughout the late 2000s amid several dud projects, including The Love Guru and the spoof genre losing popularity in the 2010s, it seemed like the moment had kind of passed.
Yeah.
But Myers has repeatedly expressed his enthusiasm for Austin Powers 4 over the last 20 or so years, stating back in 2024 that he would be, quote, very surprised if it didn't happen. And Myers offered up his most emphatic confirmation yet while recently appearing on Trevor Noah's World Cup watch party, offering a quick and succinct, Yes, when asked if the sequel will happen, though not elaborating any further. Considering both the enduring nostalgia for the original trilogy and recent success of the sixth Scary Movie, there's probably no better time for Austin Powers 4
Not to mention that
finally come to
commercial that
fruition.
almost
Next
served like
up,
a sequel.
In Memoriam. Film concepts don't get much more hilariously unique than that of In Memoriam, a new black comedy from filmmaker Rob Burnett, the guy behind the fundamentals of caring. The film stars Mark Moron as Langston Stanfield, a terminally
Is a
ill
Days of
actor
Thunder sequel?
who,
I wonder if they're gonna
staring
mention
down
that.
his own imminent demise, becomes obsessed with ensuring he gets included in the Oscars In Memoriam segment. It all certainly seems like a right fit for Moron's sardonic comedic sensibilities, and to sweeten the deal, he is joined by one hell of a supporting cast, including Lily Gladstone, Judy Greer, Talia Ryder, Michael McKean, Justin Long, Alan Ruck, and Sharon Stone. And if you're still not convinced that such a bewildering concept could actually get made into a movie, In Memoriam is already finished. It's already ready to go. And in fact, it recently premiered at the Tribeca Festival, where it earned largely warm reviews for its affecting brand of dark comedy and especially Moron's performance, which many deem to be a career best. Next up, Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. When Abel Ferrara's unforgettable Bad Lieutenant was released back in 1992, who could have imagined that it would actually become an actual franchise? A standalone Nicolas Cage starring follow-up called Bad Lieutenant Port of Call New Orleans was directed by Werner Herzog in 2009, which, while brilliant, failed to make a dent commercially, suggesting the dubious IP was basically over. But a third film was unceremoniously announced last year, Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, which will revolve around a freaky Tokyo cop played by Shunaguri, who crosses paths with an FBI agent played by Lily James, investigating the disappearance of a politician's daughter. Best of all, the also standalone prequel is being helmed by Takashi Miike, whose knack for directing the absolute hell out of pulpy, ultra-violent noir is firmly established throughout his storied career. No one expected a new Bad Lieutenant in the year of our Lord 2026, or ever, really, but with this level of talent involved, it's definitely appreciated. We won't have to wait long for it either, as Bad Lieutenant Tokyo will release sometime in September. Next up, Stunt Nuts the Movie. No, you didn't dream that there's a third entry into Matthew Vaughn's Kick-Ass franchise, and it's probably the last thing anyone expected. Far from a direct sequel to the two previous R-rated superhero films, Stunt Nuts the Movie is a spin-off focusing on a team of athletes who rent out their stuntman services to try and save their financially impacted gym. Among the cast is, surprisingly enough, Sam Rockwell and Chris Hemsworth. Vaughn has puzzlingly designed the film to kickstart a new trilogy of kick-ass movies, though he won't be directing any of them, instead handing off duties to his regular stunt performer collaborator, Damian Walters. Easy though it is to picture Rockwell and Hemsworth having killer chemistry in a violent buddy comedy like this, what an odd way to try and rejuvenate the Kick-Ass franchise, like 10 years after everyone got over their Mark Miller kick. Either way, it started shooting in October 2023 and still hasn't come out. And stranger still, a standalone sequel
Film since 2023.
School Fights was actually shot first way back in 2021. Weird.
Wait, what?
And last up, we have Mum, I'm Alien Pregnant. And finally, if there was an Oscar for Best Movie Title, then Mum, I'm Alien Pregnant just might win it this year. This new comedy horror from New Zealand duo Thunderlips follows Mary, played by Hannah Lynch, who through an improbable set of circumstances is accidentally impregnated by an alien, after which she faces myriad hurdles as she tries to have the resulting fetus removed from her own body. Reviews from the film's Sundance premiere have been largely positive, praising the filmmakers for melding a kooky riff on body horror with a more genuine examination of consent and bodily autonomy, with reviewers mentioning strange alien genitalia with a tendency to spurt acidic ejaculate.
That sounds
across
dumb.
rooms,
These
much
movies
of
sound
which
dumb.
is realized with
Except for maybe
practical
Austin
effects
Powers, but
rather
it's
than
too late.
trickery. It's
And
clear
the
the
Hawaiian
filmmakers
Mob
took a
movie
big,
by
long,
Martin
and
Scorsese,
hard
maybe.
swing with this movie. Mashable called it, quote, one of the strangest films
And
I've
that-
ever seen in
The
at
other
least the
film.
last
They didn't
decade,
mention a
if not
Days of
ever.
Thunder sequel,
We can only hope.
but I wouldn't pay to see any of these in the theater. But I might see Austin Powers on my torrent. Anyway, I think that's it for me, guys. No one really here, so I'm done. I'm tired, and I'm stuffed, as you can see. So I'm a call it here. But you know, maybe next time I'll have some participants. So then, peace out.